Hello and welcome to the Worn and Wound podcast. My name is Zach Kazan. I'm the editorial director at Worn and Wound. I'm joined today by Zach Weiss, co-founder at Worn and Wound. We are recording in a hotel room in Dallas, Texas, right after the Windup Watch Fair. Zach, how's it going?
It's going pretty well. But for
all
the
things
fact
considered,
all things considered,
yeah.
The big asterisk is that I'm not supposed to be here anymore. I was supposed to have left the other day, but there's some poor weather in the U.S., so we have been stuck in Dallas some extra time.
Yes, you were supposed to leave last night. We were recording on a Monday midday post windup. You were supposed to get out of town Sunday night. I was supposed to leave like right about now, actually, and just a lot of canceled flights this morning in Dallas. But that's the weather. There's nothing you can do about the weather. Everyone complains about the weather. No one ever does anything about it. So.
No.
Yeah,
it's bigger than us, I suppose.
A little bit. So we're gonna stick to the plan. We were gonna record a podcast, kind of wrapping up British Watchmakers Day, which we attended a few weeks ago, and Windup, which literally just...
It wasn't even a few weeks. That was last weekend.
It was last week, yeah. Okay, well, yeah, time is a flat circle. I don't really know where I've been all over the place here. So we're going to do that, and we're going to maybe talk about a few recent releases, or at least one recent release that is of interest to both of us. Before we do that, let's do a quick wrist check. What are you wearing today, Zach?
I'm wearing a new to me Speedmaster that I picked up in Texas. I'd actually been working on purchasing it for a couple weeks before Windup Texas, but then I actually received it at the fair from the Watch Preserve. It is a 105.012 from 1966 that I'm excited to have. I wanted a new Speedy in my life and decided to just check out what was in the what was available that was vintage as well. So
it's a really nice watch. I had a chance to see it while we were at the show. Is this your first true vintage Speedmaster professional? You had kind of a neo vintage Speedmaster Reduce, a calendar watch for a while, but this is kind of a different thing.
Yeah, so I had that one, the calendar watch, the triple calendar, which I guess was probably around 2000 or something with that one. And then I had another reference, the only true Speedy Pro I'd had before, which was from the early 90s, and I'm going to forget the reference number on it. It's something like 3592, but I might get that wrong. And it was the first with the display case back, which was a really nice model because the display case back still had the copper movement in it, which was cool, and it was a tritium dial. So those were had the look of a much older Speedmaster, but then some features of modern ones. But unfortunately, I couldn't keep that one back in the day. But this one, 1966, caliber 321, this is sort of true vintage Speedmaster.
Yeah, that's like a serious Speedmaster. Congratulations on that. That's a really cool pickup. I'm wearing a watch that I picked up at the Windup Watch Fair over the weekend. This is a Serica 5303, I think is the reference. This one has the seafoam green bezel, really unique color. I've admired Serica for quite some time. They're still kind of a relatively new brand. At least they feel like a relatively new brand to me compared to some of the very new brands. This is a really cool watch. It's it's vintage inspired dive watch, but completely of their own imagination. It's a really cool original design. Really happy to own this.
Cool. Yeah, that's a very cool one. I love that bezel color. Nobody else has done a ceramic bezel color like that. It's interesting that Serica can even have unique ceramic colors, which they have a few.
Yeah,
which is very cool.
Yeah,
and that mesh bracelet's special.
Yeah, the bracelets. So I don't love. These bracelets are kind of challenging to put on and take off. I have not quite gotten the hang of that yet, but I will. I also think I might experiment with leather straps in this watch. I feel
it'll look good. I remember when I reviewed that when they first came out, the first day or two, having a challenge with it, and then kind of just figuring out how to hold it with one hand and get it tight with my thumb, and you get used to it, and then it's easy.
You need to create some leverage so you can kind of smoothly pass, the far end of the bracelet through the tiny little sliver that you have. It's a precision maneuver. There's a reason that these are not so common anymore. I think it's
perhaps.
But there's a charm to it
for sure.
Yeah. All right, so let's start with British Watchmakers Day. Reach all the way back to last week, I guess.
Yeah,
when we were in London for British Watchmakers Day.
Yeah.
This is the third time that Worn and Wound has been in London for British Watchmakers Day. The third British Watchmakers Day. So we've been to all of them.
Been to them all.
You were at the first. I was at the event last year. Really fun event. What were your kind of like overall impressions of British Watchmakers Day this year?
Yeah, no, I enjoyed the first one as well. It's a good event. It's I don't know how many brands are they, or 40?
Something like 40.
Yeah. It's in the same space it's been in every year, which is sort of like a greenhouse kind of space. So it's got skylighting, which is really nice lighting. You get a little bit of glare on crystals, but it's very hard to find lighting for venues. So
it's very pleasant in there.
It's very pleasant in there.
It's maybe not the best for watch photography. So there's a push and pull.
You need like the skylight, then you need like an awning of diffusion or something, which is probably not worth building for a day's event. But yeah, it's a fun. It's a like Windup. It's a busy, energetic watch fair. And the way they do it, because it's one day and it's in 3 sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Each session sort of is very intense. So the intensity sort of maintains all day because people are only going to one session. So it's like any person who's there only has their 3 hours or 4 hours or something like that to get to all of these booths.
And that intensity is also one of the reasons for it is there are all these limited editions that brands have created specifically for the event. Brands are incentivized to create limited editions because the proceeds go back to the alliance that all these brands are part of. So yeah, it is kind of like the new session starts and there's kind of like a mad rush to like all these booths to check out.
Yeah. And it definitely feels, it's fun to see all those brands regardless and what they have, but not every brand had new releases. So then the special launches, these limited edition launches for the fair do kind of end up being highlights in it a little bit. And there were some good ones.
Yeah. Well, let's go through some of the ones that really kind of caught our attention. I think the headliner is probably the new Christopher Ward logo, which has a new reference number, which I don't have at my fingertips right now. But this is essentially a dressier version of the logo, which was introduced last year as an integrated bracelet sports watch. And this new case has it's more refined. It's just in a dressier style. It's obviously not an integrated bracelet, and it has some other cool effects like a very domed dial. This edition had a Union Jack motif on the dial because British Watchmakers Day, of course. What do you think of that watch? Yeah,
I really like it. And I actually got to see it again this weekend at Windup Watch Fair.
There was one here?
Yeah, there was one here. Yeah. But the motif of the Union Jack aspect aside, obviously that's for the fair, but it's once again, take a step back. This is clearly a new case. This is clearly a new design. This wasn't a one-off watch for them. I'm saying they haven't sent us. I don't know this in advance. I'm not breaking any embargo. I'm just predicting.
It wouldn't make a lot of sense for them to just make 10 of these.
Exactly. So this has some sort of new loco case, not a C12. I think is very smart. I think it gives the loco movement, or the CW003, a little bit more of its own platform. And this case feels like a whole nother, a step up for them. It's a 904L steel case. It doesn't share a profile, I think, with anything else there. They might call it a light catcher or something, but it has this indent on the side and then soldered on lugs that match this indent. So it has a really beautiful sort of optical effect to it, domed crystal. And then, like I said, the dial, that open dial space itself, the time telling display dial is extremely domed. So you get the dimensionality. The shapes of the bridges were a little different. The finishing on the movement was a little different.
Yeah.
Really looked refined. And I could see them going in a really cool, neo-traditional sort of direction with that would suit it really well. Whereas they couldn't shove that into a 12 case,
Right. Yeah. No, it's a very cool watch. Like I said, they only made 10 and they were gone very quickly.
Yeah, very quick.
and that was that was sort of a theme that we saw with other limited editions of British Watchmakers Day. People really came out for these. I agree. It'll be interesting to see how they iterate on that case. There, clearly, we expect them to make more. But yeah, it was a very impressive case with mixes of mixing sort of like classic. Like a classic sort of dress watch look with some more modern attributes, specifically on the case flanks with those hollowed out lugs and case sides. Another watch that I really liked was the new limited edition from Appiar. So they made they make watches using 3D printing, additive manufacturing, and I reviewed one of their watches last year. And really liked it. I think that they're really onto something with sort of like the case geometry that they're creating with these additive manufacturing techniques. And they made a dial, I believe, in a collaboration with a dial artist that's painted to resemble the map of the London Underground, which was. There's if you like do some digging, there's all these different like maps of the London Underground. It's a subway system that's existed for a very, very long time and has kind of like been through multiple eras. And the unique thing about that subway system is it kind of is in like a circular pattern as opposed to like a grid system, and so it's really kind of like well suited to interpret as a watch dial. And it's a very cool effect. I really like this dial execution quite a bit. Very colorful, of course. They only made 3. They were all technically unique. They're all slightly different. But I'm just a really big fan of what Appiar is doing. And I think that they're one of the like UK brands that's kind of like on the upswing. I feel like they have a lot of really cool ideas.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was a very pretty dial. I didn't get to handle the watch myself just because the table was so busy, but I looked at it and I feel like I saw it on like a wrist or two walking around. The dial artist himself, Chris, was walking around. I think he might have been wearing it. And it's funny at a glance because of the colors. My first thought was, oh, is that the like Louis Vuitton World Timer?
Yeah, very similar sort of look to that.
Yeah, the similar color kind of spectrum, which is it was a good, like in a good way, and it's cool. The ABR also had at their table just some like new generation dials, I think, of their their 3D printed watch. The only one of theirs I'd seen before has a sort of spider web dial, which I like the watch and the concept, but like that dial just doesn't do it for me. And this new one had a sort of like a printed brick pattern, which I liked a lot. It was definitely something that caught my eye. So yeah, I mean, it seems like they're, like you said, they have a lot of ideas and they're doing new things and they're using this, additive 3D modeling process or 3D printing process in cool ways, which we've slowly but surely seen make its way into the watch world in more interesting ways. I think Ming's 3D printed bracelet being probably the most notable in the last couple of years, or in the last year.
Yeah.
But then, doing a watch from the ground up is super cool. So.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see these brands kind of make advancements in 3D printing in different ways. Appiar they seem, kind of committed to doing it as much as they can, using additive manufacturing and making it like relatively accessible. Ming's polymesh bracelet is sort of like the most insane use of this technology that I've personally seen. It's not the first 3D printed bracelet. I think that's
oh really?
Yeah. It's other. I think Holthenricks has done a 3D printed bracelet in the past. It's different.
It's the way it's done. It's like
the way it's done is different. Yeah. It's so I
did mesh or something.
Yeah. It's unlike anything I've I've seen. It's a very unique thing and just absolutely There's no other bracelet like it. It has all the qualities of metal but feels like fabric. It's just very unusual.
I don't think it would be possible given like probably the current limitations of that technology, but I would love to see them make like actual like armor or something out of it. Like I mean it's a type of like chainmail. I mean, jokingly, you call it mithril when you're holding it, but it's like
and then obviously Holthenricks is a brand we both have a lot of affection for. They're doing 3D printing in still in a different way, using like really finishing it in a much more refined way, and that's through years of kind of like trial and error on their part using that process.
And I feel like their approach to it is less about like celebrating that technology, not that it's not. It's more about like that's like the method to like envision their designs, because then they put so much hand finishing into it and everything. It's like some of the nature of the 3D printing, like the particle-ness and everything, like that's all gone at a certain point. You have like a very refined watch at the end. So it's cool, different strategies there.
What other watches stood out to you at British Watchmakers Day?
Well, I feel like I'm going to talk about this a bunch in different mediums. I'm going to talk about Instagram, but the Schofield Skeptico in Ultim was, I mean, it's the watch I just keep going back to, other than the Chris Ford that I'm just thinking about. So the Skeptico, it's, if you know Schofield, it uses the Schofield case design, which is very, a singular sort of design. It's hard to kind of describe. It's like a stacked columns or cylinders that sort of taper into each other. It's a very rugged design. It's been the core of that brand since they launched, like, 8-10 years ago. They've always been like adapting that in different ways. And the designer, behind the brand, Giles Ellis, does a lot of stuff by hand. I think does most stuff by hand. He's used some really crazy materials in the past. And this one, Ultim, which is it's plastic. The initials of it are PEI. I don't remember what the actual like poly something is. It's a material that's used a lot in the EDC world, but once again, it doesn't come from that. It's like some sort of like, thermostable plastic thing that's just been adopted in these different hobbies. And you see it on like knife scales and pen bodies, and it's got this distinctive yellow color to it that like it's fun. I was talking to somebody and they referred to it as like nicotine stain. It's something between that, some amber, and it's like, it's a weird color. It's like I said on Instagram, you like it or you don't, because it can be both beautiful and ugly, but it's striking no matter how you look at it. And this is the first time I've seen a whole watch. It's the first time I've seen a watch use it, period. Certainly a whole case, let alone one that's like done to this level of kind of fit and finish and everything. So it was super cool. Super cool.
I like this watch quite a bit too. You were thinking about buying this watch.
I was. It floated. I floated the idea, but it's a big watch, and I think like, unfortunately, that would have hindered my enjoyance.
They call it a statement piece.
Statement piece. Yeah. I also knew I was buying another watch like a week later, so it was like kind of I promised myself.
When do we ever let that stop us from buying a watch? That's so I wasn't familiar with the Ultim, as a material. I know you have a keyboard that uses.
I have a keyboard of it. Ultim. This is honestly something we should bring Garrett on. He's way more familiar with this material and the kind of history of it. But I've kind of recently sort of found myself enjoying it. So seeing a watch made out of it was like kind of
sort of novelty.
Yeah. Like I have a keyboard and a knife that I got within the last 6 months. That used it. So.
They also made one in steel or titanium.
In steel,
which is like, you see them side by side. They're just like they're the same watch, but they're completely different watches. Like the Ultim really kind of like deserves to be considered, on its own.
Yeah, for sure. And what relates to them is the dial design. It's a very appealing dial, very graphic. It's all machined. The steel one too has like machine marks in it, which is nice because I believe Giles machines these himself in his shop. It's a cool brand. Definitely has a cult following. One of the brands I like, what I like when they're like stubbornly themselves. They've never like, I don't know, cow to any trend in the industry whatsoever.
For sure. And there's a lot of to your point, there's a lot of handwork involved in these watches and things. You posted about them from time to time in the past, and these watches have like a higher retail price than you might expect, given in a lot of cases the materials used and the movements used. But I think that like the value in these watches is in the craftsmanship. For sure. Because they are, it's a very small operation. At Schofield. Another watch that I know we definitely need to talk about, one that I think appeals to both of us, is the limited edition from Fears at British Watchmakers Day. This is their, it's a big anniversary year from them, 180-year anniversary for
Nicholas. That's great for 180 years.
Really does, yeah. He's really, I don't know how he does it, but every British Watchmakers Day to this point, they've released a limited edition in solid silver and this year's is based on a historic pocket watch in a Brunswick case with a new movement that gives the dial a little bit a different look, more balanced look. This is just a really beautiful watch. They do a nice job with these silver cases, I think.
Yeah, I really like this one. I was very excited to see it. Very traditional dial. I mean, there's really nothing like surprising about it. It's just really refined, really fierce, really British. Makes sense in a silver case, and one of the things that's so cool about their silver cases is that they have a little diamond on the crown.
Yep.
Like they're really special things.
They're hallmarked with Nicholas's initials on the back.
Rad.
The idea is that whoever the current managing director at Fears is will have their initials hallmarked on the back of, I think, any precious metal watch that they make.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that they think about these like generations of the company in a way that others don't. I mean, granted, they have the history.
Yeah.
No, it was absolutely beautiful. It was in the 40 millimeter case. I think if it had been in the 38.5, I would have been in danger.
Yeah.
The 40 just, when I put it on, it just felt a little too big for me at that moment to have that like immediate click. The first year of British Watchmakers Day, the silver watch they did there, which had the like enamel dial, that one was a 38.5, and I wasn't in the place to buy it then, and I saw one on the wrist of an attendee. I wish I could go back and get that one because that was 38.5 and that was stunning.
Nicholas was wearing a solid gold Fears that I think was also 38.5 millimeters, and that watch was beautiful.
Yeah, we had lunch with him, and I tried that on, and I just forgot it was on my wrist for a while.
Yeah.
it was really
it's great. Fears is one of those brands that continues to like just really do great work. Nicholas gave us a little bit of a preview of some things that they have coming down the pipeline later this year. I think people will be pleased and interested in those watches that are coming.
More precious metal space. I love that they work in silver. I mean, it's like the most approachable precious metal, but it's a precious metal.
Yep.
And that's so special. I don't know.
Yeah, I recently acquired a silver Fears watch. I love it. It's great. It's just a really, really cool material. And they do such a nice job with it. Really thoughtful dial executions with those silver cases that make them feel special and unique.
Yeah.
I just want to go through mention a couple more brands. We don't need to go into like great depth. I was introduced to Alison Moriarty's brand at British Watchmakers Day. She does these really beautiful enamel dials in like larger cases. Like these are like 40, 41 millimeter maybe watches. They have like a real presence to them, and the dials. Some of them have markers or numerals of some kind, but the ones I really liked are the sterile dials without any additional markers, just her word mark. They really let the enamel, the quality of the enamel shine through. I chatted with her a little bit. She was great. Also, Moel's and Company was there. Got to meet Bettina, the founder of that brand. We've covered her brand before. We linked to a really nice article that Chris Ancilis wrote a few years ago, profiling her. It was cool to see her watches.
Yeah, I got to check those out too, and I think I'd seen one a couple of years ago, but I haven't seen all the models. And then the refresh, and I forget the model names, but the kind of the long rectangular one, the one she launched her brand with. It's like very mid-century. She was showing me how the new version is refined from the previous one, which was an automatic. This one's hand wound and it's thinner and just it's a really fun watch. It's really cool. It's got like a mid-century Jetsons space age kind of thing to it. No one else is doing anything like that.
Yep. She's very creative, and so young. My God, the kids. They're just like
I don't even want to know.
Got some cool ideas. Yeah. Those watches were cool to see. Arken. We got to talk about Arken. Maybe this is a good segue to talk about our event with Arken that we did. But Arken had they had watches to sell at British Watchmakers Day. I think this is the first time they've had watches to sell at an event. So that's a milestone for Ken and his small but growing team.
And he previewed a new dial color too. I suppose we previewed there. It's probably on the internet, so people saw it. But it's like
Ken's always showing people things.
Yeah. Sorry, Ken, if this is breaking an embargo. But it's like a green gray versus like the kind of more cool gray of the previous version of the Instrumentum.
Yeah.
It's really interesting when you see them next to each other. You see one is blue and green, but then if you take it away, they're both just grays.
Yeah,
kind of. It was very subtle. It's nice.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that dog color a lot. Obviously, like Ken's a friend of ours, and we always enjoy spending time with him, which is why we did an event with Ken. This is the third year in a row we've done
as many British Watchmakers days as there has been.
Yeah, there's a grow. I mean, as British Watchmakers Day continues to evolve and grow, there are more and more events kind of like surrounding it, and I'm glad to say that all the cool kids came to our event.
The coolest of the cool kids.
In London that we hosted with Ken. It was a lot of fun. It was thanks to everyone if you're listening for coming out to that event. It was great. It was packed. It was. I mean, last year's event was busy. It was in the same space this year, and it felt like there were like twice as many people. Maybe it was. It was crazy.
We got to expand it for sure. It's a great time. I mean, I go back for British Watchmakers Day, and we'll stay for the event, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But great. It's a really nice. Like every city we go to, we meet watch enthusiasts and we're around readers. Always great. Great people in every city. We bring out the great in people. What can I say? Yeah. But I feel like there is something. The UK watch scene is very strong, and
for sure
appreciator. It's just lovely to meet them and talk watches.
There's something also like I'll just never get tired of like just acknowledging that people are enjoying our podcast and website like in Europe and in another country. It just feels different, when you go when you go to London or when you go to Switzerland. People are like, oh, like Warning Wound, you guys are great. Like it's so satisfying. So it's resonating with people everywhere, and that was just. Yeah, it was just very nice to have that event, and we look forward to coming back, and maybe finding a larger space.
It got very hot in there too.
Yeah, at one point, it was steamy. It was packed. Yeah. All right, let's shift to Windup Dallas.
Should we talk about the watch release that happened between the two?
Oh yes, we should. Yeah, we skipped right over that. Yeah. A new Otsuka Low-Tech was introduced.
Not every day that there's a new Otsuka Low-Tech.
Yeah, number 8. So they introduced the number 9 last year, which is a little outside my price range. That's like the $100,000 or beyond.
Just 100.
Yeah, easy monthly payments with a firm. The number 8, inspired by recording consoles at Abbey Road Studios, apparently. This watch has jumping hour, retrograde minutes in a square case.
It's a jumping hour hand.
Jumping hour hand.
Yeah, which is something I particularly am fond of. Like, I'm a big regulator fan.
Yep.
I'd call this a regulator.
It is, I think it's a regulator, yeah.
It's actually interesting. It's sort of like I'm going to forget the name. The Chronoswiss made a watch. Breguet has one too, I believe, where like each time, hour, minute, seconds, each told with a different complication. So it's like jump hour, retrograde minute, moving seconds. And this is like that too. But the like jumping hand is very rare. It has been done before. So like Frank Mueller had a watch in the 90s. I almost bought one of those, even though I didn't like the watch at all. And it was expensive.
Yeah.
Inexpensive for Frank Mueller, but like not inexpensive because it was a solid gold watch, just because I wanted that complication. So I'm very excited to see them do this.
Yeah, no, it's great. I think that when the number 9 came out last year, it was their first square cased watch, and they were kind of like teasing this one, and you could see like in the teaser images that it was going to have like a square-ish shaped case. So there was a lot of obviously curiosity around this. Very exciting watch. It looks like it has similar to other watches, they made a crystal that kind of like reveals like the movement from the side.
Yeah, like wrapped down from one side, which is super cool. So you can like see the module a bit.
And again, like their other watches, this is a module built on a Miyota movement.
Yeah.
Which is just like one of my favorite types of watchmaking is doing something really complicated and creative on top of like a very simple mass-produced movement. And like the haters will say it's, $6,000 plus is too much for a Miyota movement. And to that I say, you don't really know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I mean, from what I understand, the whole complication itself is made and assembled in Japan in their own, studios. So, it's the mix. And there's like, Swiss precedent for that where like, there's, I think even like Christian Vanderklaar or something, like, I don't know what they're using now, but they used to use a 28-24 base, and then on top of it was a planetarium, and then it costs whatever, or Resonance for that matter, you also used, or uses. So this is just the Miota version of that, and it's super exciting. I mean, there's always been great movements. They were just sort of tainted by, I think, the Kickstarter world that undercharged for them for a while, and that they're not a Swiss-made movement, which whatever baggage comes there, but us enthusiasts know they're solid.
Yeah, no, they're tried and true, tested movements, and they're heavily modifiable, as we've seen, from Atsuko Lotek and many others. And that's that's a testament to the movement itself. I think that that you can kind of like play with it and make changes to it. So that's a really exciting release. Those should start delivering to initial buyers within the next couple of months. I've heard. I expect we'll see them on Wristed Watches and Wonders probably in about a month's time. So I'm really curious to see one in person.
It's very hard to tell from the photos and the dimensions how big it actually is. I found it's 31 millimeters wide, which is quite narrow, 48 millimeters long,
which is quite long,
but not like anything over under 50 is still wearable, but those are strange, like it's narrow and long, but in some of the photos it looks huge on the wrist, so it's very hard to tell.
I have the number 5 Kai, which I picked up last year. And, if you look at the spec sheet, like that watch, the way they list the dimensions, it doesn't seem, like it's just, I don't know off the top of my head what they list the dimensions at, but it's like, it's really misleading because it wears just like a normal watch, and it actually wears quite thin, even though like the case height is like technically kind of high because it has this like very dramatic, domed crystal, or box crystal, rather, but it's, you can't really put too much stock in the measurements.
No, and they're insane looking. Like I have the 7.5 the jump hour. It's 40.5 millimeter case with wire lugs, so it's wears small in that way. But then it's 14.5 millimeters tall to the top of like one of those turrets.
Right.
So it's just, I mean, it wears like a machine, not like a watch. But that's the aesthetic. So.
For sure. So that's something to look forward to. That we'll hopefully get a look at in person soon. Windup Dallas. Yeah. This was our second year in Dallas. Last year it was, I feel like we were kind of like testing the waters a little bit. We did a 2-day show. I was not at last year's event. So this is my first time at Windup Dallas. And I had a great time. Yeah. It was a really fun event. This venue is kind of like, it's all the venues for our Windup events are different, obviously, but this one has like a specifically a unique character, kind of like all to itself. There's like a really nice like outdoor space. There's a porch. It's the only Windup with a porch.
Only Windup with a porch. That's true. Sure.
Which is
San Francisco's got a bay. This one's got a porch.
Yeah. Really fun show. I gotta say, like I didn't really. I've heard from brands for years, obviously, that they have customers in this part of the country and, in Texas, specifically. And that's why we do the show, in Texas. But there really is a strong watch community.
Oh, yeah. Very strong watch community. And one that's in desire of events. And, it's super enthusiastic. I mean, it was packed every day. Last year we weren't open Friday. This year we were because, that's the working day. So. There was a line to get in. It was packed all through the day. But then Saturday this year, I think, was even bigger than Saturday last year. There was a line. We set up a tent this year for the line, for the shade. But it went all the way.
Wasn't there last year?
No.
People must have been roasted.
Nobody cared. It was a little cooler last year too, but it was sunny. But nobody complained.
Yeah,
it's Texas. They're used to it. They got big hats.
That's true.
But I mean, the line went all the way out and through the parking lot. And, the space itself is a little compact, so we have to keep the numbers, carefully monitored, so it doesn't get too crowded inside.
I was enlisted at one point to play bouncer, checking people on the line, which was fun. It was nice to temporarily have, quite a bit of power, letting people into the venue. But to your point, everyone was very kind, and at least when they got to my little like check check-in area, like they were happy to wait. We talked watches, and it was it was a good time.
Well, it is well designed because it's kind of like you go in, you go to the porch, turn. I think you were at the end, where it's like right before the first door,
right?
And then that brings you to the bar.
Yes.
So, oh look, here's a cool drink.
Yeah.
Have some booze. Bruflati.
Yes.
Sponsored bar. Very strong old fashions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you go in. So.
Yeah. So what'd you see at Windup that you liked? Was there anything that jumped out at you that was
put on the spot? Oh my god, yes, but I'm totally blanking on everything I saw. The just because this was the first image in my Instagram, so it's the top of mind. But the Spinnaker, I know you like this too.
Oh yeah,
Razzle
Dazzle.
Also the dial artist. Wow, dial's
yeah.
making rounds right now.
Yeah, the Razzle Dazzle's cool. I almost bought one of those, but they sold out before.
Okay.
I could throw my credit card down.
Nice.
But yeah, congratulations to whoever picked up the last of those. Yeah, those are really cool. Spinnaker surprises me sometimes. Like a lot of what Spinnaker does is it's for a different audience, I think, than what. Than for me. I mean, just in my taste, which doesn't mean anything. It's just they do a lot of character watches.
The octopus one.
I do. Okay. Yeah, that one's a keeper.
So you own more than I do.
That's the octopus watch is a lifelong keeper. Yeah. But every once in a while they'll do something that is just really kind of surprising and it's just very appealing, and that the Razzle Dazzle watch was really cool. Trying to think of other things.
There's always this spot of mental exhaustion after these events where you can't remember anything. It's weird.
Yeah,
we're terrible at watches and wonders. I'm Jack Mason dual crown diver they came out with, which I think was launched here, and I'm sorry I don't know the name of it, but it's very nice. I was just thinking about this the other day, but dual crown diver sort of had a moment several years ago and then sort of disappeared.
Yep.
I think we're good to bring them back now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like a dual crown diver.
I was being uni through most of the years of dual crown diver.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't even think of that as that because it's such a different.
Honestly, I don't really even think of it as a dive. It's a different sort of thing.
But that vintage style one, it's really nice.
Yeah. I'm consulting my Instagram because I posted a bunch of.
My phone's recording. I don't want to touch it lest we screw up the recording.
A lot of these watches are watches that are not new necessarily, but I got a chance to spend some time.
For sure
at Windup. So, so Micro Mil Spec was here. I got a chance to spend some time with all their watches. Really really cool stuff. DUG.
DUG.
Yep.
Had you not really seen those before?
I had seen them, but got reacquainted. With those watches.
Yeah, we have them in the showroom, so I walk by it every day. I go to the office, and I often stop to look at it because they're very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. You know what? I posted another Spinnaker, the SpongeBob.
Double Spinnaker weekend for Kazan.
Yeah. The 35mm fair cushion case.
Yes.
This one that I really liked.
One of the new releases for the show.
Yeah. That was a new release for the show. The previous cushion case I think was close to 40, maybe even a little larger if I'm not mistaken.
I don't.
It wore very large. It was too large. I think 35mm is the right size.
Yeah.
For
square cases don't you can't compare that to a 35mm round case,
right?
Which, it's interesting talking to brands about case sizing and stuff because I got a preview of that one in British Watchmakers Day. I think they had it on the table. I was talking to the brand founder Paul there, and he was just size. The whole size thing is off the table now. It's you can make small watches, big watches.
Yeah,
there's no feverish demand for one or the other. There's sort of mid ground, but each has its own kind of fan base. And, don't be scared of the number 35. So it's this, think of this as closer to 37, 38 in how it wears or something like that. But very different.
Yeah. I mean, 35 is a completely normal size for a watch and was for forever for a wristwatch.
I have two 32mm watches in my collection now.
Yeah.
I'm going sub 30 this year.
You should.
I'm not.
Experiment.
Yeah.
Another watch. So this was maybe the standout of the show for me was the Venezianico.
Okay.
Their watch with the Italian made movement and the guilloche dial. They have 2 versions of this watch, one in like a silver color and one in a gold tone. Just like really beautiful, like very hypnotic dial, and movement made in Italy. Like that's it's a unique thing. They're doing interesting things.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the manufacturing there, but it's like who's making that in Italy? I just don't know much about it, but it's super cool. It looks very nice too. Yep. So yeah, I'd like to find out more and see where that goes.
Yep.
Now I'm remembering some watches. So Sarah released the date.
Diver with a Date.
Diver with a Date, which is long awaited for. Red date there, which is nice. But what stood out to me though was the bezel color. It's again another ceramic bezel insert. This was like almost a taupey gray. It's very nice looking. And then actually sticking to the theme of ceramic, the Formex Ceramica came out last year, but I feel like I actually hadn't really spent any time with the solid dials. And I picked up the kind of black bronze one. It was really nice. You know, I put that on my wrist and I was just like, shoot, this is cool. And I was looking at them because I actually include them in a video that we have coming up, and I wanted to, Liam and I were going to shoot it for a bit, and I just like put it on, and it reaffirmed that I made the right choice in putting in the video because that watch is like $3,600, and
it's crazy what they can do for the money. Yeah, that's there's a story there for sure because Formex is. I mean, obviously they have access to their own manufacturing, and the fact that you can get a ceramic watch with a ceramic bracelet at that price point is just like kind of a mind blowing,
and finished to a high degree. You know, like
it's not like cheap. It's like it's really really good.
I was thinking that like ceramics is interesting because it's like one of the few materials that like super haute brands, AP whatever, will use alongside of precious metals in their highest end watches. So it really kind of still holds a special place. You don't see forged carbon doing that so much anymore.
Right, right. Kind of speaking of carbon, the other watch I wanted to call out is a new watch from March Lab, which is their they have this forged carbon with in a green tone in their larger size case, just like really really nice
with illumined resin.
Yes,
so it glows. Yeah,
neat. It's really cool. You also turned me on to a gold on gold watch.
Did you go back?
I went back and took a look at it. It's really nice. March Lab's going to be at Watches and Wonders this year. It's really
that's exciting.
Yeah,
it's big for them.
Yep, for sure.
They actually used to be at Basel back in the day, but
really solid windup. Really good show. We had some barbecue. You missed the barbecue last night.
I did. I mean, I had a pulled pork sandwich, though, at the barbecue truck on the second day.
Yeah.
So I got my barbecue in, but I didn't go to Terry Black's with everyone else.
Yeah.
How was that? Was it good?
It was just a nice light meal.
Light meal.
It's just what you want after,
I imagine you couldn't sit outside. No. Staying yesterday.
Yeah, the yesterday, again, we're recording on Monday. The weather on Sunday was quite nuts. Just lots of wind. It got very cold. It's cold now. It's in the 30s here in Dallas. It's warmer in the Northeast today. So hence why we're here.
Hence we're here, recording in a room. Hope the audio sounds good enough.
I think that's a good place to cut the pod. Hopefully the audio survives. But yeah, Zach, thanks for coming on, talking about some of our recent watch events. We're in watch event season. We got Watches and Wonders coming right around the corner.
This is my third fair in 3 weekends. I went to Intersect, then British Watchmakers Day, then Windup. Then I have a little break, and then Watches and Wonders. Then 2 weeks later, Windup.
It's that time of year, and of course, Watches and Wonders is not just one event. It's a bunch of events.
Overwhelming.
Yeah. Anyway, it's time to start caffeinating. Thanks everyone for joining us for another episode of the podcast. We appreciate it, and we will be back next week with another episode. Until then, take care.